All right, guys. Cows lose. Cows lose. ah, you lose to Teddy Bridgewater. Where do I start? This game irritates me the most because you lose to a quarterback, and I got a bunch of nuggets that I want to hit tonight. In this wrap up, but you lose to a quarterback who seriously had 200 yards and a pick, throwing the ball, threw for 30 times. He had 200 yards and an interception. He couldn't throw the ball more than 15 yards. Seriously, like with any zip, with any buzz, and you lose to him. I get the Saints defense is good. I get all of that. Jason Witten fumble, Zeke fumble, and I'm gonna get to Zeke. Drops, offensive line play terrible. Coop was locked. Some of that had to do with coverage, but a lot of that had to do with Marshawn Lattimore. Really, he took it upon himself to take on the challenge. He followed Coop, and he played well. All that said, you got to win that game. You got to win that game. You have a golden opportunity to pull away from this division a little bit now. This division now isn't a gimme. As I'm looking at the schedule, and I'm gonna look it up right here, guys. It's one of those things that's just like this is the unenthused. You don't jump off the bandwagon, but this is kind of where the Cowboys kind of throw you off. Okay, this is where they throw you off. Now you got Dallas. Now you got Green Bay next week, who's coming off a loss. That won't be a tall task. You need to find out what's going to happen with Devontae Adams. But you need to win games that you should win. This was a game that you should win. So where do I start? Let's talk about the defense. All things considered, and as much as the Saints held, like there was literally probably holding on every play. All things considered, and as much as, the Saints held and did some different things, I thought that, I really thought that that the Dallas defense played well. I thought that Robert Quinn, it's to the point now that Robert Quinn is outplaying DeMarcus Lawrence. And that's unfortunate because you want them both to get going, but I don't know if it's, I got to go back and watch film if he's getting chipped. He's just not flashing to me. DeMarcus Lawrence is not flashing, okay? And that, you had that Saints offensive line on its heels. I loved the way that the linebackers played. Layden and Jalen, I can't ask for anything else out of my linebackers, period. Robert Quinn, he is shot out of a cannon, dog. Like, if there's one thing that I want to take from this game is that Robert Quinn is playing really, really well. You really did a good job on Alvin. You did a good job on Alvin Kamara. I mean, he had maybe like, one 13-yard run, one 11-yard run, but it wasn't much. No, he had more than Ezekiel Elliott. And, I'm going to segue to Zeke. What was it, 2 yards a carry? Just not enough. If they're going to double Coop like that, and there has to be some type of design. Zeke has to make somebody miss. There has to be something that the Cowboys can draw up to get him going. You just paid him that money. That was a piss-poor effort, dog. And the fumble, I know that you're a battering ram, Zeke. I know that you're the fall-forward king. At some point, you got to make somebody miss. At some point, you got to break a tackle and hit a long run. I feel like Zeke hasn't had a long run since his rookie year. I mean, seriously. And some of that is on the O-line. Don't get me wrong, like, at all. Some of that is on the O-line. But a lot of that is on Zeke. He just doesn't have any pop. And he averaged 2 yards a carry, 1.9. Seriously. And I've been kind of on that train since, like, training camp. Like, you need to find ways to spell this guy. 18 carries, 35 yards. They try to stay with it. Zeke just isn't hitting it. And you just pay this guy at King's ransom. Not going to overreact. But the juice, dude. Today would have been a Tony Pollard game for me. Something, a swing pass, a pitch, something to get him going. I don't want to see Tavon Austin in the game anymore. Like, I don't. He had that end around and he cut it back in for what reason? I just don't want to see Tavon Austin touching the football. I'm good. I'm good on Tavon Austin. He's hurt. I didn't even know he was gonna play tonight. I'm good on Tavon, dog. Like, you know, that guy, I'm cool on him. Let's talk about Amari Cooper. Probably Amari Cooper's worst game as a Cowboy. I have to go back and watch to kind of see what they were doing. But probably Amari Cooper's worst game as a Cowboy. They did some different things coverage-wise. But for the most part, it was him and Lattimore, mano a mano. Coop got the best of him a couple times, but a couple offensive PAs, the one on the last drive and the one early in the game. And Coop is normally good keeping his head, so he'll never overreact. But tonight was a game where he just couldn't get it going. And other than Jarwin, really nobody else stepped up. Dak, I like Dak's game tonight, actually. I have no complaint when it came to Dak Prescott. He did the best with what was given to him. Cobb had a drop. Actually, Cobb, I think, had 2 drops. Witten had the fumble. And the Saints executed a great game plan in a 12-10 game. They played keep away. Now, is this a time to panic? Absolutely not. Get ready for the Cowboys haven't beaten anybody good. So now, in Jerry world, you need to find a way to beat Aaron Rodgers and those guys. You saw the Eagles run the ball all over Green Bay. You need to do that. You need to move on from this game. You need to go out and do that. But all in all, just a piss poor effort because your defense played well. The offense, just too many mistakes, period. I love you, Jason Witten. You had some nice catches, but you can't fumble the ball there. You get roughed off. Then Zeke comes off the ball. It's just, it's one thing if a fumble happens and it just couldn't. Zeke has no pop. So, I actually lost my train of thought because my buddy just called me. But, Coop definitely played his worst game. He was locked. He was clamped. So, we'll just have to see. We're going to have to see how this thing finishes up here. But Cows lose. Is this time to panic? No. But, you just lost to a team you should have beat. There's no scheme. You lost to a team you should have beat. So, in this playoff hunt, Philly's coming up the mend. You need to beat Green Bay. This coming up the mend. And listen, Green Bay is going to come in here and try to win that game. I'm telling you now, because they are in a dogfight in the NFC North. There's some good teams in the NFC North. So no team could really fall behind. The reason why you need this game is because of tiebreakers and the playoffs and little things like that. So, not to get too far ahead of myself, but, no reason to panic, but concern, yes. You shouldn't have lost to Noodle Bridgewater. He can't throw the ball 15 yards and you lost to Noodle Teddy Bridgewater. He's a backup at best, dog. So, Cows lose. Cowboys fans, let me know what you think. Is what it is. Peace.